Beloved soul, welcome back to Jesus Christ Devotional, where divine insight meets divine timing. I'm so glad you're here today. I don't believe in coincidences, and neither should you. Because if you found this video, there is something heaven needs you to hear. This message about relocation and blessing isn't random. It's not chance. It's not a fluke. It's divine orchestration, and you're being prepared for it in this very moment. Before we begin, I want to invite you to type, "I am ready," in the comments as a powerful act of faith. Declare it right now. Let the heavens hear your agreement. Let the angels mark your words. When you say, "I am ready," you're aligning with a higher purpose. You're stepping into the truth of what's being spoken over your life today. Go ahead and do that now. It's not just a comment, it's a covenant. I feel a divine urgency to deliver this message to you today. The angels have been whispering, and I've been listening. They speak of someone young and rich, who has been divinely appointed to bring transformation to your life, to relocate you from where you are to where you're destined to be. This isn't just about physical relocation, though for many of you, that will be part of your journey. This is about a complete repositioning of your life, spiritually, emotionally, financially, and yes, for some, geographically. The heavens are active on your behalf right now. There are divine appointments being scheduled in the spiritual realm that will soon manifest in your physical reality. I need you to understand something profound today. Heaven has marked you for elevation. You've been enduring, persevering, pushing through difficulty, and staying faithful even when you couldn't see the way forward. And now, divine timing has caught up with your faithfulness. Type, "I believe," in the comments, if you can feel the truth of these words resonating in your spirit. Sometimes we need to vocalize our faith to activate our breakthrough. Your declaration becomes a spiritual anchor, holding you steady until manifestation comes. Now, let me tell you about this young, rich person the angels have revealed. First, understand that youth here isn't just about physical age. It's about energy, innovation, fresh perspective, and new beginnings. And richness isn't solely about financial wealth, though that's certainly part of it. It's about abundance in all its forms: ideas, connections, opportunities, and yes, resources. This person coming into your life carries the energy of renewal. They see potential in you that others have overlooked. They recognize your worth, your gifts, your capabilities, and they have both the vision and the means to position you where you can truly flourish. For some of you, this will manifest as a business partnership. For others, it might be a mentor, a sponsor, or even a divine connection that leads to marriage. For still others, it could be a literal job offer that includes relocation to a place that will become the soil for your greatest season of growth. Can you feel that? The stirring in your spirit as I speak these words? That's confirmation. That's your soul recognizing truth when it hears it. The divine whispers are becoming louder now. The veil between heaven and earth is thinning over your life. Type, "I am aligned," in the comments right now. Position yourself in agreement with what heaven is declaring over you. The angels are revealing that this connection, this divine appointment with someone young and rich, has actually been in preparation for longer than you realize. While you've been focused on your daily struggles, heaven has been orchestrating circumstances, aligning people, shifting resources, and creating the perfect conditions for your elevation. Nothing about this is random or accidental. Remember how Joseph in the Bible was sold into slavery, falsely accused, imprisoned, and forgotten, until suddenly, in one day, he was elevated from the prison to the palace. That's the kind of dramatic repositioning that awaits many of you. The wait has been long, the journey difficult, but the elevation will be swift when it comes. For others, it will be like Ruth, who left her homeland and followed her mother-in-law to a foreign place, only to find favor with Boaz, a man of wealth and influence who recognized her character and worth. Through that divine connection, she went from gleaning leftover grain in the fields to becoming the owner of those fields through marriage. Her relocation led to her restoration. The angels are saying that many of you have been in a Ruth season, gathering crumbs, working hard for little return, wondering if your faithfulness will ever be rewarded. But now comes your Boaz season, the time when your worth is recognized, your loyalty rewarded, and your future secured. Type, "My season is changing," if you receive this word. Let your declaration become a spiritual landmark that you can look back on when the manifestation comes. The name of this young, rich person who will relocate you is not a literal name I can give you today. It would be presumptuous of me to claim such specific knowledge. But what I can tell you is that the essence of this name, the spiritual signature of this divine connection, carries certain qualities that you'll recognize when they appear in your life. This person will carry the mark of divine favor. Things work out for them in ways that defy logical explanation. Doors open, resources flow, connections form naturally. They seem blessed beyond measure, not because they're perfect, but because they're aligned with their purpose. And they recognize that same potential for alignment and blessing in you. Their presence in your life will feel both surprising and familiar, like meeting someone for the first time, but feeling you've known them forever. There will be an instant recognition, a spiritual resonance that goes beyond normal interaction. Your spirit will bear witness that this connection is divinely orchestrated. They will speak words over your life that echo what God has already whispered. To your heart in private moments of prayer and reflection, they'll see in you what you've barely dared to see in yourself. And they'll have not just the vision, but the practical means to help that potential become reality. Type, "I receive this divine connection," to acknowledge your openness to this heavenly appointment. Your receptivity creates a spiritual atmosphere where miracles can flourish. Now, I want to address something important. Some of you have been praying specifically about relocation. You've felt a divine restlessness, a holy dissatisfaction with where you are. You've sensed that you're planted in soil that can no longer support your growth. This message is direct confirmation of those prayers. The angels say yes, relocation is coming, but it will come through a divine connection, not through your striving or manipulation of circumstances. Others of you haven't been thinking about physical relocation at all. For you, this message is about repositioning, a shift in your circumstances, relationships, career, or ministry that will elevate you to a new level of influence and impact. It's about being moved from the background to the foreground, from the shadows into the light. The angels reveal that this young, rich person who will facilitate your relocation or repositioning carries the energy of innovation. They think differently. They see possibilities where others see problems. They're not bound by conventional wisdom or traditional approaches. This is why they can recognize your unique value in ways others have missed. Many of you have felt misunderstood, undervalued, or overlooked in your current environment. You've known in your spirit that you have more to offer than what's being received. This divine connection will change that dynamic completely. They will see you, truly see you, and understand exactly how to position you where your gifts can flourish. Type, "I am being positioned for purpose," if you feel these words speaking directly to your situation. Your acknowledgement is a form of spiritual partnership with what heaven is doing. The angels are showing me that for many of you, this relocation will involve crossing boundaries that have previously seemed impassable. These might be geographical boundaries, cultural boundaries, socioeconomic boundaries, or even boundaries of belief about what's possible for your life. This young, rich person will serve as a bridge across those boundaries, making possible what has previously seemed impossible. This reminds me of how Moses needed Joshua to lead the people into the promised land. Moses could bring them to the edge, but Joshua was appointed to lead the crossing. Some of you have been brought to the edge of your promised land by previous mentors, guides, or experiences, but now comes your Joshua, the one divinely appointed to lead you across the threshold into full possession of your promise. I see that some of you have actually been in a holding pattern, sensing that something significant was coming, but not knowing what steps to take. The angels say your waiting has been purposeful. You haven't been stagnant. You've been in preparation. Every challenge, every disappointment, every delay has been developing necessary strength and wisdom in you. When this divine connection occurs, you'll understand why the timing is only now becoming perfect. Type, "My waiting has purpose," to acknowledge this truth. Sometimes our greatest growth happens in the waiting rooms of life. The angels are revealing more about this young, rich person who will relocate you. They carry the energy of abundance, not just financial abundance, though that's part of it, but abundance of vision, abundance of faith, abundance of determination. They see limitless possibility where others see scarcity and limitation. And that perspective will be contagious. It will begin to infect your own thinking and expand your own vision for what's possible. Many of you have been limited not by your capabilities, but by your environment. You've been like an oak tree planted in a small pot. Your growth stunted not by any deficiency in you, but by the constraints around you. This divine connection will transplant you to open ground, where your roots can go deep and your branches can spread wide. The very same gifts that have seemed average in your current context will be recognized as extraordinary in your new placement. I'm sensing that for some of you, this relocation will initially trigger fear. Change, even positive change, can be intimidating. The familiar, even when it's uncomfortable, has a certain safety to it. The unknown, even when it's divinely orchestrated, can seem risky. But the angels want you to know that this fear is natural, but not necessary. What awaits you is greater than what you'll leave behind. Remember how Abraham was called to leave his father's house and journey to a land God would show him. He wasn't given the full map at the beginning, just the first step. Your journey may unfold similarly. You may not see the entire path, just the next divine appointment. But each step will lead to greater clarity about the ultimate destination. Type E. I choose faith over fear to align yourself with courage for this journey. Your declaration becomes a spiritual weapon against the hesitation that might hold you back. The angels are showing me that this young, rich person who will relocate you carries the energy of restoration. Many of you have experienced loss, disappointment, or betrayal that has created wounds in your spirit. This divine connection will be part of your healing journey. They will create conditions where restoration can occur. restoration of confidence, restoration of joy, restoration of purpose, restoration of peace. For some of you, this restoration will include financial recovery. You've experienced setbacks, unexpected expenses, or periods of lack that have created stress and limitation. This divine connection will open doors to financial renewal that will release you from the constant pressure you've been under. This isn't about greed or materialism. It's about having the resources you need to fulfill your purpose without distraction. Others will experience restoration of reputation. You've been misunderstood, misjudged, or misrepresented. The narrative about who you are and what you're capable of has been distorted by circumstances or by others' perceptions. This divine connection will help rewrite that narrative, positioning you where your true character and capabilities can be seen and valued accurately. Type, "I embrace my restoration," to actively participate in this healing process. Your words have creative power when aligned with divine purpose. The angels want you to know that this relocation, whether physical, spiritual, emotional, or all of these, isn't just about changing your circumstances. It's about positioning you for greater impact. The blessing coming to you isn't meant to terminate with you, it's meant to flow through you to others. Many of you have felt a calling to make a difference, to leave a legacy, to contribute something meaningful to the world, but you've felt constrained, limited in your ability to fulfill that calling. This divine repositioning will amplify your voice, extend your reach, and multiply your impact. What you've been able to do for a few, you'll soon be able to do for many. This reminds me of how David was relocated from the fields where he watched sheep to the palace where he would eventually lead a nation. That relocation wasn't just for his benefit. It was for the benefit of all Israel. Your relocation carries similar purpose. It's not just about your elevation, it's about your assignment. The angels are revealing that this young, rich person who will facilitate your relocation recognizes something in you that connects with their own divine assignment. This isn't a random act of generosity or a casual business decision. There's a spiritual synergy between your purpose and theirs, a divine connection that will create something greater than either of you could accomplish separately. Type, "I accept my greater assignment" if you feel the weight and the honor of this truth. Your acknowledgement becomes a spiritual contract with your destiny. For some of you, this divine connection and subsequent relocation will happen suddenly, unexpectedly. You'll be going about your normal routine when the invitation comes, and it will require quick decision and action. The angels encourage you to stay spiritually alert, to keep your spiritual senses attuned to divine opportunity. Don't be so focused on your current challenges that you miss the door opening right beside you. Others will experience a more gradual unfolding, a series of smaller connections and opportunities that create a path toward this major relocation. Each step will require faith and obedience, building your spiritual muscles for the larger leap to come. Don't despise these smaller movements. They're essential preparation for the greater shift ahead. The angels are showing me that some of you have actually already met this young, rich person who will facilitate your relocation. But you haven't recognized the significance of the connection yet. There's been a divine orchestration happening behind the scenes that will soon become evident. What seemed like a casual introduction or a random encounter will reveal itself as a pivotal divine appointment. Type, "I am spiritually alert," to sharpen your awareness of divine connections. Your spiritual sensitivity determines what opportunities you're able to perceive. The name of this young, rich person who will relocate you carries the energy of purpose. They themselves are walking in aligned purpose, and they recognize aligned purpose in others. This is key to understanding why they'll invest in you. They see beyond what you can do for them to what you're destined to do in the world. Their investment isn't merely financial, it's purpose-driven. Many of you have experienced conditional support in the past, people who would help you only as long as it benefited them directly. This divine connection will operate differently. There will be genuine recognition of your worth and your calling that transcends immediate return on investment. This person understands spiritual principles of sowing and reaping that extend beyond transactional relationships. The angels want you to know that this relocation will require you to leave some things and possibly some people behind. Not everything and everyone from your current season is meant to journey with you into the next. This isn't about rejection or abandonment. It's about necessary pruning for greater fruitfulness. Think of how Jesus called the disciples to leave their nets, their tax booths, their familiar livelihoods, to follow him into an unknown but divinely guided future. There was cost involved in that relocation, but the return far outweighed the investment. Your journey may require similar decisions, releasing the good to embrace the greater. Type, I release what's behind me to create spiritual space for what's ahead. Sometimes our hands must be emptied of what we've been holding before they can receive what's being offered. The angels are revealing more about this divine connection that will facilitate your relocation. This person carries the energy of acceleration. Things that would normally take years to develop can happen in months or even weeks through their influence and resources. They have the ability to compress time frames and fast-track processes that would otherwise move much more slowly. Many of you have experienced delays and detours that have been frustrating and discouraging. You've wondered if your dreams would ever manifest, if your prayers would ever be answered. This divine connection will create a season of acceleration where momentum builds rapidly and progress becomes tangible. Suddenly, the very things that seemed impossibly distant will be within reach. The angels want you to understand that this acceleration isn't about skipping necessary development or bypassing important lessons. It's about divine efficiency, moving at the pace heaven has designed, rather than at the sluggish rate human systems often impose. It's like the difference between walking a path and being carried on eagle's wings. The destination is the same, but the journey time and experience are dramatically different. Type I embrace divine acceleration to align yourself with this supernatural pace. Your spiritual agreement removes obstacles to this heavenly timing. For some of you, this relocation will involve a complete reimagining of your identity and purpose. You've been operating within certain parameters, defining yourself by certain roles or capabilities. This divine connection will help you see yourself from a higher perspective, recognizing potential and purpose you've been unable to perceive from your current vantage point. This reminds me of how Gideon was addressed as a mighty warrior by the angel of the Lord while he was hiding in fear, threshing wheat in a winepress. The heavenly perspective saw what was possible, not just what was presently manifested. This young, rich person who will relocate you carries a similar ability to see the warrior in you while you're still threshing wheat in hiding. The angels are showing me that this divine connection will serve as a bridge between your current reality and your divine destiny. They have access to relationships, resources, and opportunities that would otherwise remain inaccessible to you. Their presence in your life creates a divine shortcut, not bypassing necessary growth but bypassing unnecessary obstacles and delays. Type, I accept divine connection to position yourself for this heavenly introduction. Your spiritual receptivity creates an atmosphere where divine appointments can flourish. The angels want you to know that this relocation will require courage. It will mean stepping into unfamiliar territory, operating at levels you haven't experienced before, moving in circles that may initially feel intimidating. But they also want you to know that the courage you need will be supplied as you move forward. You don't need to feel courageous to begin. Courage will grow with each step of obedience. Many of you have been waiting to feel ready before stepping into new opportunities. But readiness often comes through action, not before it. This divine connection will invite you into spaces you may not feel qualified to occupy. The invitation itself is confirmation of your readiness, even when your feelings haven't caught up to that reality. Remember how Moses argued with God at the burning bush, listing all the reasons he wasn't qualified to lead the Israelites out of Egypt. God's response wasn't to argue with Moses' assessment of his abilities, but to promise divine presence and provision. I will be with you. The same promise extends to you as you step into this relocation. You won't go alone. Divine presence will accompany you. Type, I walk in courage to activate this spiritual strength within you. Your declaration aligns you with heavenly resources for the journey ahead. The angels are revealing more about this young, rich person who will relocate you. They carry the energy of authority, not domineering control, but authentic spiritual authority that opens doors and creates pathways where none existed before. Their words carry weight. Their influence extends to places and people that will be instrumental in your elevation. This reminds me of how Joseph in Egypt was given Pharaoh's signet ring, a symbol of authorized power to act on behalf of the throne. This divine connection in your life will extend similar authorization to you, empowering you to operate with a level of authority and influence that has previously been beyond your reach. Many of you have felt unseen, unheard, unable to gain traction or make meaningful impact despite your best efforts. This divine connection will amplify your voice, extend your reach, and create platforms for your gifts that you couldn't create through your own efforts alone. It's like being handed a microphone when you've been speaking in a whisper. Type, I receive divine authority to align yourself with this spiritual empowerment. Your acknowledgement creates receptivity for this heavenly endowment. For some of you, this relocation will involve a complete change of environment. Moving to a different city, state, or even country, the angels want you to know that this geographical shift isn't arbitrary or random. It's a strategic repositioning that will place you where specific relationships, resources, and opportunities necessary for your purpose can be accessed. Others will experience relocation within your current geographical area, but in a completely different context or community. You'll remain physically where you are, but operate in entirely new circles, with new connections and new access points. This type of relocation can be just as significant as geographical movement, repositioning you socially and professionally rather than physically. The angels are showing me that this divine connection and subsequent relocation will create a domino effect of positive change in your life. One connection leads to another, one opportunity creates several more, one door opening reveals corridors of additional doors you couldn't see before. What begins as a single point of blessing will multiply exponentially as you move in alignment with divine positioning. Type, I see the multiplication to activate your spiritual vision for this exponential blessing. Your perception shapes what you're able to receive and recognize. The angels want you to know that this relocation will involve a period of adjustment and adaptation. Even positive change requires transition, and transition involves both ending and beginning processes. There may be moments of disorientation, uncertainty, or even grief for what's being left behind. These feelings don't indicate you've made a wrong move. They're natural parts of significant life transitions. Many of you have experienced difficult transitions in the past that have created hesitation about embracing change, even positive change. The angels want you to know that this transition will be different. Not because it won't have challenges, but because you'll have supernatural grace and divine guidance carrying you through the adjustment period. You won't be left to navigate the transition alone. This reminds me of how the Israelites had the pillar of cloud by day and fire by night, guiding them through their wilderness journey. They never had to wonder about direction. Divine guidance was visibly present with them. You'll experience similar clarity and presence as you navigate this relocation. The path will be illuminated one step at a time. Type, I embrace divine transition, to align yourself with the grace available for this season of change. Your spiritual agreement activates supernatural resources for your journey. The angels are revealing more about this young, rich person who will relocate you. They carry the energy of discernment, the ability to see beyond surface appearances to true essence and potential. They aren't fooled by packaging or presentation. They recognize authentic value even when it's hidden beneath layers of circumstance or temporary limitation. Many of you have felt that your true worth and capabilities have been overlooked or undervalued. You've known there was more within you than what others could see, or what current circumstances allowed you to express. This divine connection will see through those limitations to the authentic gold of who you are and what you're capable of becoming. This discernment extends beyond just seeing your potential. It includes understanding the specific environment and conditions where that potential can best flourish. Like a master gardener who knows precisely what soil, light, and conditions each plant needs to thrive, this person will recognize how to position you where your unique gifts can reach their fullest expression. Type, I am truly seen, to acknowledge this divine recognition. Your spiritual awareness creates receptivity for being authentically known and valued. For some of you, this relocation will represent a return to original purpose, a divine reset that aligns you with dreams and callings you had begun to believe were lost or impossible. You'll experience a rekindling of passions and visions that once burned brightly but have been dimmed by disappointment, practical concerns, or the opinions of others. Others will experience this relocation as an introduction to entirely new purpose, stepping into assignments and opportunities you couldn't have imagined previously. Like Abraham being called to a land he would be shown, you'll move toward purpose that will be revealed progressively rather than all at once. Each step will bring greater clarity about the ultimate destination. The angels want you to know that this relocation is part of a larger divine narrative, a story being written that extends beyond your individual life to impact families, communities, and even nations. The repositioning of one person can create ripple effects that transform countless lives. Your elevation isn't just for you, it's for all who will be touched through you. Type, I embrace my part in the greater story, to align yourself with this expansive purpose. Your acknowledgement activates awareness of your role in the divine narrative. The angels are showing me that this divine connection that facilitates your relocation will recognize something in you that reminds them of themselves. At an earlier stage of development, there will be a spiritual resonance, a recognition of similar calling or gifting that creates immediate understanding and connection. They'll see in you not just what you are now, but what they know you can become because they've walked a similar path. This reminds me of how Elijah recognized something in Elisha that prompted him to throw his mantle over the younger man, identifying him as his successor. This divine connection in your life will similarly recognize and call forth your next level of purpose and anointing. Their investment in you will be a form of spiritual succession planning, positioning you to carry forward aspects of what they've begun. Many of you have felt isolated in your gifting or calling, like no one quite understands the unique combination of abilities, passions, and vision that drives you. This divine connection will end that isolation. They'll not only understand, but will have the resources and influence to help translate that unique design into meaningful impact. Type, I receive recognition, to position yourself for this divine acknowledgement. Your spiritual receptivity creates space for authentic affirmation of your identity and purpose. The angels want you to know that timing is crucial in this relocation process. There are divine windows of opportunity that require responsiveness when they open. This doesn't mean making hasty or unwise decisions, but it does mean being spiritually attuned and ready to move when divine timing aligns with opportunity. Hesitation, born of fear rather than wisdom, can cause missed connections. Many of you have experienced situations where opportunity came, but indecision or fear prevented you from stepping through open doors. The angels are encouraging you to prepare your heart now for courageous response when this divine connection and relocation opportunity presents itself. Preparation happens before opportunity arrives, so that recognition and response can be immediate when the moment comes. This reminds me of how the 5 wise virgins in Jesus' parable had oil in their lamps when the bridegroom arrived. Their preparation positioned them to enter the wedding feast, while the unprepared were left outside. Your spiritual preparation now, cultivating faith, courage, discernment, and responsiveness, will position you to recognize and receive this divine appointment. When it comes, type, I am prepared for divine timing, to align yourself with heavenly schedules. Your spiritual readiness creates capacity to move in harmony with divine windows of opportunity. The angels are revealing more about this young, rich person who will relocate you. They carry the energy of divine alignment, their own lives and resources positioned in harmony with heavenly purpose. This alignment gives them access to wisdom, favor, and provision that exceeds normal human capacity. Their decisions and actions flow from this aligned position, creating extraordinary outcomes and influence. Many of you have struggled with misalignment, trying to force open doors that weren't meant for you while overlooking the ones divinely prepared for your entry. This divine connection will help restore proper alignment, positioning you where flow replaces struggle and divine synergy multiplies effectiveness. It's like the difference between swimming against the current and being carried by it. This divine alignment isn't just about ease, it's about effectiveness. When you're positioned where heaven intends, your same level of effort produces exponentially greater results. The resistance that has made progress so difficult will give way to momentum that makes the impossible suddenly achievable. This relocation will position you in this flow of divine effectiveness. Type, I align with heaven's position to create spiritual harmony with divine placement. Your acknowledgement activates cooperation with heavenly coordinates for your life. For some of you, this relocation will involve a complete identity shift, moving from how you've seen yourself and been seen by others to an entirely new understanding of who you are and what you're capable of becoming. Like a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly, you'll emerge with capabilities and perspectives that weren't possible in your previous form. Others will experience this relocation as a restoration of original identity, returning to authentic self after seasons of adaptation, compromise, or conformity to expectations that weren't aligned with your true design. Like tarnished silver being polished to reveal its natural brilliance, your relocation will remove layers of accumulated distortion to reveal your genuine essence. The angels want you to know that this identity transformation isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's about becoming more fully who you were always created to be. The relocation creates conditions where your authentic self can emerge without the constraints and limitations that have prevented full expression previously. Type: I embrace my true identity to activate this authentic emergence. Your spiritual agreement creates space for genuine self-expression and purpose alignment. The angels are showing me that this divine connection that facilitates your relocation carries the energy of multiplication. They understand spiritual principles of increase that transcend natural economics. They recognize that generosity creates channels for greater abundance rather than depleting available resources. Their investment in you reflects this understanding of supernatural multiplication. Many of you have operated in environments of scarcity thinking, where resources are viewed as limited and must be hoarded or protected. This divine connection will introduce you to abundance thinking, where resources flow through open hands rather than being clutched in closed fists. This shift in perspective will transform not just your financial reality, but your entire approach to life and purpose. This reminds me of how Jesus took 5 loaves and 2 fish, an obviously inadequate resource for the need at hand, and, through blessing and breaking, created abundance that fed thousands with baskets left over. This divine connection in your life carries similar anointing for multiplication, turning what seems insufficient into more than enough through heavenly principles of increase. Type: I receive supernatural multiplication to align yourself with this divine economy. Your spiritual agreement activates heavenly principles of increase in your life. The angels want you to know that this relocation will require release of control, surrendering your own plans and timelines to embrace divine orchestration that often works in unexpected ways and unfamiliar sequences. This surrender isn't about passivity, but about active cooperation with heavenly methods that differ from human strategies. Many of you have experienced frustration trying to make things happen through your own efforts and according to your own understanding. You've pushed doors that wouldn't open and exhausted yourselves trying to create outcomes that remained stubbornly beyond reach. This divine connection and subsequent relocation will introduce you to the ease of flowing with heavenly currents rather than fighting to generate your own momentum. This reminds me of how Peter spent all night fishing using his professional expertise and caught nothing. But when he surrendered to Jesus' unconventional instruction to cast his net on the other side of the boat, an instruction that made no logical sense to an experienced fisherman, he received a catch so abundant it nearly broke his nets. Your relocation will position you for similar supernatural results that come through surrender rather than striving. Type: I surrender control to release yourself into divine orchestration. Your spiritual agreement creates space for heavenly methods to operate beyond your understanding. The angels are revealing more about this young, rich person who will facilitate your relocation. They carry the energy of divine favor, an inexplicable advantage that opens doors no human effort could open and creates opportunities no strategic planning could arrange. This favor surrounds them like an atmosphere, affecting everything and everyone they touch. Many of you have struggled against invisible barriers despite your best efforts, qualifications, and diligence. You've wondered why others with less preparation or dedication seem to advance more easily while your path remains difficult. This divine connection will transfer a measure of supernatural favor to you, creating an atmospheric change around your life and endeavors that makes the impossible suddenly accessible. This reminds me of how Joseph's presence brought blessing to Potiphar's household and later to the prison where he was unjustly confined. The favor that rested on him extended to his surroundings, creating prosperity and success in unlikely places. This divine connection in your life will create similar atmospheric change, extending favor to you and through you to your environments and endeavors. Type, "I receive divine favor," to position yourself for this supernatural advantage. Your spiritual receptivity creates space for unmerited heavenly assistance and blessing. For some of you, this relocation will involve reconciliation with divine purpose after seasons of wandering distraction or pursuit of goals that weren't aligned with your authentic calling. Like the prodigal son returning to his father's house, you'll experience restoration to original assignment and the healing of wasted years. Others will experience this relocation as an expansion of current purpose, not a complete change of direction, but an enlargement of territory and influence within your established calling. Like Joshua being commissioned to take the promised land after Moses brought the people to its borders, you'll move from preparation to possession, from learning to leading. The angels want you to know that this relocation is part of a divine progression, a necessary next step in a journey that began before you were conscious of it and will continue beyond what you can currently envision. Each position has prepared you for the next, developing capacities and understandings essential for your ultimate assignment. Type, "I embrace divine progression," to align yourself with this heavenly sequence. Your spiritual agreement activates cooperation with the orchestrated steps of your purpose journey. The angels are showing me that this divine connection that facilitates your relocation carries the energy of redemption, the ability to transform what seems wasted, broken, or lost into something valuable, whole, and found. They recognize that your greatest wounds often become the source of your greatest ministry, and that failure can be the foundation for your most significant success. Many of you have areas of pain, disappointment, or perceived failure that you've tried to hide or overcome. You've seen these experiences as liabilities rather than potential assets. This divine connection will help you recognize how these very experiences, when redeemed, become unique qualifications for your purpose. Your scars become credentials in the economy of heaven. This reminds me of how Paul's former identity as a persecutor of the church became part of his qualification to be an apostle to the Gentiles. What seemed like a disqualifying past became, when redeemed, essential preparation for his divine assignment. This divine connection in your life will help you see similar redemptive purpose in what you've considered wasted or damaging experiences. Type, "I receive redemption," to activate this transformative process in your life. Your spiritual agreement creates space for divine alchemy that turns pain into purpose and failure into foundation. The angels want you to know that this relocation will involve divine exchange, trading what is good for what is best, what is familiar for what is purposed, what is comfortable for what is commissioned. This exchange isn't about loss, but about upgrade, though it may temporarily feel like sacrifice until the greater value of what you're receiving becomes evident. Many of you have settled for less than God's best, not because you don't desire more, but because you've accepted limitation as your permanent reality. This divine connection and subsequent relocation will awaken renewed expectation and expanded vision for what's possible in your life and purpose. It's like trading a single-room dwelling for a spacious estate with room to grow. This reminds me of how the merchant in Jesus' parable sold everything he had to purchase the pearl of great price. To observers, his actions might have seemed foolish or extreme, but he recognized value that others missed and was willing to exchange everything for the one thing of surpassing worth. Your relocation will position you for similar clarity about what truly matters and what deserves your full investment. Type, I accept divine exchange to participate in this heavenly upgrade. Your spiritual agreement activates willingness to release the good for the best. The angels are revealing more about this young, rich person who will relocate you. They carry the energy of vision, the ability to see beyond current reality to future possibility, and to create pathways between the two. They aren't limited by what exists now, but are constantly imagining and working toward what could be. Many of you have struggled with vision shrinkage, the gradual reduction of what you believe is possible based on accumulated disappointments, practical limitations, or others' skepticism. Your dreams have become smaller, safer, more realistic. According to worldly assessment, this divine connection will reawaken expansive vision, calling you back to original dreams or introducing entirely new possibilities beyond what you dared to imagine. This reminds me of how God took Abraham outside to look at the stars, expanding his vision beyond his childless reality to the countless descendants promised. This divine connection in your life will similarly take you outside your current limitations to show you a future that contradicts present circumstances but aligns with divine promise. Type, I receive expanded vision to activate this spiritual sight in your life. Your acknowledgement creates receptivity for seeing beyond natural limitations to supernatural possibilities. For some of you, this relocation will happen through an unexpected crisis that initially appears negative but ultimately positions you for breakthrough, like Joseph being sold into slavery by his brothers, a seeming disaster that eventually positioned him to save nations. Your disruptive circumstance will serve as the vehicle for your divine positioning. Others will experience this relocation through a straightforward invitation or opportunity that requires simple recognition and response, like Matthew being called from his tax booth with a simple, "Follow me." Your transition will come through clear direction that needs only your willing agreement to activate divine repositioning. The angels want you to know that whether your relocation comes through crisis or invitation, through complexity or simplicity, the outcome is equally purposed. Different people require different methods of repositioning based on their unique design, circumstances, and calling. The method matters less than the result, your ultimate alignment with divine purpose and placement. Type, I trust the process. To create spiritual partnership with the unique way your repositioning will unfold, your agreement activates cooperation with divine methods specifically designed for your journey. The angels are showing me that this divine connection that facilitates your relocation carries the energy of legacy, an understanding that true, Success isn't measured merely by immediate accomplishment, but by long-term impact that continues beyond one's lifetime. They make decisions and investments with generational thinking rather than just short-term gain. Many of you have been forced to focus on immediate survival or pressing needs, making it difficult to lift your eyes to longer horizons or broader impact. This divine connection will help shift your perspective from day-to-day management to generational influence, from making a living to making a difference that outlasts your lifetime. This reminds me of how David prepared materials for the temple he wouldn't live to see built. He understood that his purpose extended beyond what he would personally complete or experience. This divine connection in your life will help you recognize how your current assignment connects to purposes larger and longer than your individual life, creating meaning that transcends immediate results. Type, "I embrace legacy thinking" to activate this expanded perspective in your life. Your spiritual agreement creates capacity for generational vision and impact that extends beyond immediate horizons. The angels want you to know that this relocation will require trust in divine wisdom that often contradicts conventional understanding or accepted wisdom. Like Noah building an ark before rain existed, or Abraham leaving established civilization for an unseen promised land, you'll be called to move according to heavenly insight rather than earthly evidence. Many of you have relied primarily on visible proof, logical analysis, or expert opinion to guide your decisions. While these have value, this divine connection and subsequent relocation will introduce you to a higher level of guidance, spiritual discernment that perceives divine direction beyond what natural senses can confirm. It's like developing a new sense that perceives what others cannot see. This reminds me of how Elisha prayed for his servants' eyes to be opened when they were surrounded by enemy armies. Suddenly, the young man could see the heavenly horses and chariots of fire that had been present all along but invisible to natural sight. Your relocation will position you where spiritual perception becomes as real and reliable as physical perception, guiding decisions from heavenly perspective rather than limited earthly viewpoint. Type, "I trust divine wisdom" to activate this spiritual discernment in your life. Your acknowledgement creates receptivity for guidance that transcends natural understanding and conventional wisdom. The angels are revealing more about this young, rich person who will relocate you. They carry the energy of divine timing, an intuitive understanding of when to move, when to wait, when to speak, when to be silent. They recognize that effectiveness depends not just on what is done, but on when it is done, the difference between a seed planted in season and out of season. Many of you have experienced frustration with timing, moving too quickly and finding doors closed or waiting too long and missing opportunities. You've struggled to discern the rhythm of divine movement in your circumstances. This divine connection will help calibrate your spiritual timing mechanism, teaching you to recognize and respond to heavenly windows of opportunity with greater precision. This reminds me of how the sons of Issachar in Scripture were described as those who understood the times and knew what Israel should do. This divine connection in your life will help develop similar discernment, the ability to accurately read spiritual seasons and respond appropriately to changing circumstances and divine initiatives. Type, "I align with divine timing" to synchronize yourself with heavenly schedules. Your spiritual agreement activates attunement to the rhythms and seasons of God's movement in your life. For some of you, this relocation will require complete reinvention, leaving behind not just where you've been, but who you've been. Embracing new identity, new methods, new relationships, new expressions of purpose. Like Paul's transformation from Saul on the Damascus road, your change will be so profound that even your name, how you're known and recognized, may change. Others will experience this relocation as refined continuation, not a complete break with past identity and purpose, but a purified and elevated expression of what has always been authentic in you. Like Peter being restored and commissioned after his failure, your core calling remains, but is deepened and matured through both success and failure. The angels want you to know that whether your relocation involves reinvention or refinement, the process is equally valid and valuable. Different journeys require different transitions based on unique purpose and destiny. What matters is alignment with divine design rather than conformity to any particular pattern of transformation. Type: I embrace my unique process to create spiritual partnership with the specific way your transformation is unfolding. Your agreement activates cooperation with divine methods tailored to your individual journey and calling. The angels are showing me that this divine connection that facilitates your relocation carries the energy of completion, the ability to finish what has been started, to bring projects and purposes to their intended conclusion rather than leaving them partially developed or prematurely abandoned. They understand that true impact often requires sustained focus and follow-through beyond initial enthusiasm. Many of you have struggled with incompletion, beginning initiatives, relationships, or projects with passion, but failing to carry them through to mature development and lasting impact. This divine connection will help develop completion capacity in you, the spiritual and practical resources to fulfill purpose through every phase from conception to mature manifestation. This reminds me of how Paul declared near the end of his life, "I have finished the race, I have kept the faith." Despite imprisonment, persecution, betrayal, and hardship, he persevered to complete his divine assignment. This divine connection in your life will help cultivate similar determination and capacity to fulfill your purpose despite obstacles and opposition. Type: I develop completion capacity to activate this spiritual endurance in your life. Your acknowledgement creates receptivity for the resources and resilience needed to finish what heaven has started in and through you. The angels want you to know that this relocation is not random or arbitrary, but precisely designed to position you where specific divine encounters, resources, and opportunities necessary for your purpose can converge. Like Esther being positioned as queen for such a time as this, your placement has strategic significance in a larger divine narrative. Many of you have questioned your current location or position, wondering why you're where you are and whether you've somehow missed your way. This divine connection and subsequent relocation will bring clarity to these questions, revealing purpose in previous positioning while guiding you to next-level placement aligned with expanding assignment. This reminds me of how Philip was specifically directed to the desert road, where he would encounter the Ethiopian official seeking understanding, a divine appointment that would extend gospel influence to another continent. Your relocation will similarly position you for strategic encounters and influence that extend far beyond what you could orchestrate through your own planning or network. Type: I receive strategic positioning to align yourself with this divine placement. Your spiritual agreement activates cooperation with heavenly coordinates designed for maximum kingdom impact through your life. In these final moments of our time together, I want to emphasize that the name of this young, rich person who will relocate you is ultimately less important than your readiness to recognize and respond when they appear in your life. The angels have been preparing both you and them for a divine appointment that will catalyze transformation beyond what either of you could accomplish separately. This divine connection will arrive not a moment too soon or too late, but precisely when heavenly timing aligns with earthly readiness. Your preparation now, cultivating spiritual sensitivity, courageous responsiveness, and faithful stewardship of current placement and resources, creates the conditions where recognition and reception become possible when opportunity appears. Remember that heaven's relocation orders often come disguised as unexpected invitations, surprising connections, or even apparent setbacks that actually position you for advancement. Stay spiritually alert, listening with inner ears and seeing with spiritual eyes that perceive divine movement beyond natural appearance. Type, "I am divinely positioned," as your final declaration of faith and readiness for this heavenly appointment. Your spiritual agreement becomes a beacon that signals your receptivity to the divine connection and relocation heaven has prepared specifically for you. Beloved soul, I believe with all my heart that you didn't find this message by accident. The very fact that you've remained engaged throughout these words is confirmation that they were meant for you, that heaven has been speaking directly to your situation and preparation. The angels have been revealing these truths because your divine appointment is approaching, and your heart needed to be prepared to recognize and receive it when it comes. Go forward with expectancy but without anxiety, with anticipation but without manipulation. Trust the divine orchestration that has already begun and will continue until you stand precisely where heaven has purposed you to be, relocated, repositioned, and realigned for purpose beyond what you've previously imagined possible. I honor your journey and your faithfulness. I celebrate the divine connection and relocation that awaits you, and I look forward to hearing your testimony of heaven's faithful fulfillment of every word that has resonated in your spirit today. Until next time, this is Jesus Christ Devotional, where divine insight meets divine timing. Stay blessed, stay expectant, and stay positioned for the divine appointment that's coming to relocate you to your place of purpose and destiny. Thank you for watching.